Have you ever wondered what it's like to be right on the edge of a war zone? Let's take a closer look at the paradoxical existence where it's a living museum of the Cold War, a wildlife haven, and a symbol of hope for reunification. The Korean Demilitarized Zone is a strip of land that has become synonymous with the tense standoff between North and South Korea. It's a product of the Korean War, a brutal conflict that raged from 1950 until 1953. This war saw neighbors and families divided, massive international involvement, and a peninsula left in ruins. But unlike many wars, this one didn't end with a peace treaty. Instead, it concluded with an armistice, a kind of ceasefire, signed on July 27, 1953. This armistice was more than just a pause in the fighting. It was an agreement to create a buffer zone, the DMZ, to keep the two Koreas apart and hopefully prevent any future conflicts. The terms were clear. Both North and South Korea had to pull their troops back 1.24 miles from the front line. This withdrawal created a no man's land that's 2.48 miles wide, stretching across the peninsula. Now, you might wonder, why not just sign a peace treaty? Well, that isn't very easy. The Korean War had many players, including the United Nations, the United States, China, and the Soviet Union, and reaching a full peace agreement proved too difficult. So, the armistice was the next best thing, a temporary fix that lasted over 7 decades. The DMZ isn't just a military line, it's a symbol of the Cold War. Despite its name, demilitarized, it's also one of the most heavily fortified borders in the world. Both sides watch each other closely, with soldiers, tanks, and artillery all within striking distance. Inside the DMZ, life is strangely absent and present at the same time. No civilians live there, and soldiers are the only human inhabitants. Because it's been untouched by development for so long, nature has taken over. It's become a wildlife sanctuary, home to rare species of plants and animals. The DMZ was set up with strict rules right from the start. Only 1,000 soldiers from each Korea, North and South, were allowed in the zone at any time, and they weren't packing heavy artillery or tanks. They were limited to small sidearms. The idea was simple: fewer soldiers, fewer weapons, and less chance of a sudden fight breaking out. Over the years, some of these rules have loosened up a bit, but don't be fooled. The DMZ is still one of the most heavily guarded places on Earth. It's like a high security vault for peace. Both sides have agreed to these terms because they know that even a small incident could lead to big trouble. Have you ever wondered why they created such a wide line on a map? Well, it's not just a line on a map. It's a whole area, 4 miles wide, that's been left untouched by farms, cities, or highways. This buffer zone is a clear message to both Koreas. This far and no further. It's a physical reminder of the need to keep their distance and maintain the peace. But the DMZ isn't just about soldiers and rules. It's also about nature, because this land has been left alone for so long, it's become a kind of accidental nature reserve. Rare birds fly over, and plants that you won't find anywhere else in Korea grow wild here. It's a slice of wilderness right between two bustling nations. And yet, despite its peaceful appearance, the DMZ has seen its share of drama. There have been secret tunnels dug by North Korea, which were discovered sneaking under the border. There have been defectors running across the line to seek a new life. And yes, there have been moments when shots were fired, and the peace of the DMZ was shattered. On one hand, it's a symbol of division, a reminder of the unresolved conflict and political tension. On the other hand, it's an accidental paradise for wildlife, a place where nature has flourished amidst the absence of human disturbance. This strip of land, stretching about 155 miles and roughly a mile wide on either side of the border, has become a sanctuary, for species that are struggling to survive elsewhere. It's a remarkable turnaround for a place that once witnessed the ravages of war. The DMZ's transformation into a wildlife haven is evidence of nature's resilience. With human activities largely barred from the zone for over 70 years, the damaged ecosystems have had a chance to recover and develop into a new, thriving environment. This unexpected sanctuary now hosts a variety of species, some of which are rare or endangered. The red-crowned crane and the white-naped crane, both iconic birds in Asian culture and art, find refuge here. The DMZ serves as one of their last bastions, with the red-crowned crane being endangered and the white-naped crane listed as vulnerable. But it's not just cranes that call the DMZ home. Almost 6,200 wildlife species have been recorded in the area, including golden eagles, musk deer, and mountain goats. Remarkably, 38% of the Korean Peninsula's endangered species are found within the zone. This diversity is a clear indicator of the DMZ's ecological significance. The presence of such biodiversity in the DMZ is a powerful reminder of the paradoxes of human conflict. The very measures taken to prevent human aggression, landmines, barbed wire, and military patrols have inadvertently created a haven for wildlife. It's as if the land, scarred by war, has been given back to nature, and nature has responded with a resounding affirmation of life. Despite the military presence, the DMZ is largely untouched by development, making it a de facto nature reserve. The absence of agriculture, urbanization, and other forms of land use have allowed ecosystems to regenerate and species to thrive. This has turned the DMZ into a living laboratory for ecologists and conservationists, offering a glimpse into what the Korean Peninsula might have looked like before the impact of modern human activity. Can the DMZ's infrastructure ever fulfill its original purpose? Within the DMZ, there are roads, rail lines, and utility connections that once symbolized the potential for reunification and cooperation. These infrastructural elements were built with the vision of connecting the two Koreas, fostering economic collaboration, and ultimately, paving the way for peace. However, the reality today is quite different. These hopeful symbols are now mostly inactive, standing as reminders of past diplomatic efforts rather than active conduits of connection. The roads that cut through the DMZ were designed to facilitate movement between the two countries. The most notable is the Reunification Highway, which was intended to link Seoul to Pyongyang, yet today, it sees little use beyond military patrols and the occasional sanctioned tour group. Similarly, the rail lines that once carried goods and people across the border now sit silent, their tracks a testament to the stalled progress of reconciliation. The utility connections in the DMZ, including electricity and communication lines, were established to support joint projects like the Kaesong Industrial Complex. They were tangible links that allowed for a certain level of integration between the two economies. However, with the suspension of such initiatives due to political tensions, these utilities are no longer the lifelines they were meant to be. The DMZ's infrastructure also serves as a reminder of the international community's role in the Korean conflict. Many of these projects received support from countries around the world, reflecting a global desire for peace and unity in Korea. The dormant state of these infrastructural elements is, therefore, not just a local issue, but a reflection of stalled international efforts. Did you know the spot where North and South Korean soldiers face each other directly? Well, this place is often referred to as the Truce Village or Panmunjom. Is the only part of the DMZ where soldiers from the two Koreas could face each other directly. Established in 1953, following the Korean War, it has been the site of numerous significant events, including high-stakes negotiations, prisoner exchanges, and More recently, headline-making diplomatic encounters. One of the most notable events in recent history was when President Donald Trump crossed into North Korea at the JSA, becoming the first sitting US president to do so. This unprecedented move took place on June 30th, 2019, and was seen as a step towards de-escalating tensions and resuming dialogue on denuclearization. The JSA also drew attention when a US soldier defected to North Korea. While defections across the DMZ are rare, they are highly publicized due to the political and military tensions between the two Koreas. The defection of a US soldier underscores the complex nature of the Korean conflict and the human stories that emerge from it. The JSA's layout is designed to facilitate communication and negotiation. It includes several blue buildings that straddle the military demarcation line. Meetings are held here, and military personnel from both sides can enter the same room, albeit under strict supervision and protocols. The JSA is not just about military and political maneuvering, it is also a place of symbolism. The Bridge of No Return, for instance, is a poignant landmark within the JSA, where prisoner exchanges have taken place. Once a prisoner crosses this bridge, they cannot return, symbolizing the irreversible decision to choose one nation over the other. In 2018, in a move towards reducing tensions, North and South Korea agreed to remove landmines, weapons, and guard posts from the JSA. This demilitarization effort was completed on October 25, 2018, transforming the JSA into a location that now contains only 35 unarmed security guards and serves mainly as a tourist attraction. The JSA has witnessed moments of tension and violence. Incidents such as the axe murder incident in 1976, where North Korean forces killed 2 US Army officers during a tree-cutting operation, remind us that peace in the JSA is fragile and must be constantly maintained. The JSA also serves as a living museum, a place where visitors can come to understand the realities of the Korean conflict. It's a reminder of the technically not ending war and the ongoing efforts to find a lasting peace agreement. The JSA stands as a testament to the hope that dialogue can triumph over division. The Kaesong Industrial Complex stands out as a unique experiment in economic cooperation on the Korean Peninsula. Nestled just north of the heavily fortified DMZ, this complex was a place where the two Koreas, still technically at war, came together in a rare gesture of collaboration. Was the KIC a symbol of cooperation despite Korean tensions? Launched in 2004, the KIC was a revolutionary venture. South Korean companies set up shop, employing North Korean workers to produce goods ranging from textiles to electronics. The idea was simple yet powerful. Through economic cooperation, the two Koreas could forge ties that politics had failed to create. For South Korean businesses, the KIC offered competitive access to skilled yet cost-effective North Korean labor. For North Korea, the complex was a vital source of foreign currency and a window to the outside world. At its peak, the KIC housed over 120 South Korean companies, providing jobs for some 53,000 North Korean workers. But the KIC was not without its challenges. The complex was subject to the diminishment in the flows of inter-Korean relations. During times of heightened tensions, the North would sometimes restrict access to the complex, using it as leverage against the South. Despite these challenges, the KIC chugged along for over a decade until 2016, when it became a casualty of rising political tensions, following a North Korean nuclear test and satellite launch. The South Korean government made the difficult decision to shut down the complex, citing security concerns. The closure of the KIC was a significant setback for hopes of economic integration and peace building on the peninsula. It was also a blow to the South Korean companies that had invested there and the North Korean workers who depended on the jobs it provided. The KIC's fate remains uncertain. While there have been talks of reopening, the complex sits silent, a reminder of what is possible when the two Koreas come together and what is lost when politics pulls them apart. As the world watches and the political landscape evolves, the DMZ remains a powerful testament to the history of the Korean Peninsula and the aspirations of its people. It stands as a reminder of what has been and what could be, a place where past and future converge in the present. The communities that call this region home continue to live, work, and dream, all under the watchful gaze of history. Will this heavily fortified border transform into a symbol of unity rather than division? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe to the channel for more content.